gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
That breaking news on Manhattan's east side. A woman in her 50s found dead in her apartment, stuffed into a duffel bag. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Iyer live at the scene in Kips Bay for us. Josh?
Yeah, and Bill, the NYPD crime scene unit just recently arrived here on the scene to begin what will no doubt be a multi-day experience as they work to get to the bottom of what's shaping up to be a true murder mystery here in Kips Bay. We could show you video of this apartment building as more and more officers started showing up. This is just off 31st and 3rd in a 19th floor apartment.
Wow, so you have a woman in her 50s being found dead in a duffel bag. This is something that is starting to be a common occurrence in New York City. It's not like we haven't seen things like this before, but they're just happening more often. And this is extremely scary. It's frightening. It's upsetting. It's something that we need to keep an eye out on. But a lot of these criminals have been let off, just like the people who dismembered a body. 4 people who were arrested for dismembering a body, they've been released back into the streets. So you're going to start seeing more and more of this as these leftist policies actually play out in real time.
Apparently, family members of a woman police identify as Nadia Vitel, a 52-year-old woman. Those family members were concerned they were not able to reach her, and sources say they came here this afternoon, could not get in. The super let them in, only to find her body stuffed in a duffel bag in a closet. Of course, they called police and spent several hours being interviewed by them. The super later came out and told reporters, and law enforcement sources also confirmed there's video showing 2 unidentified men entering the building who might potentially be suspects in this case. We also know, according to a law enforcement source, that the victim's car is gone. So all of that is part of this mystery. As I said, there are 2 family members who were concerned about.
So you have the vehicle gone. That could be a sign of maybe a carjack, something going on here, which is it's just sad, man, especially for her family.
Their loved one. We spoke to one woman across the street who saw just how distraught they were after they made their discovery.
There was a family out here who I guess maybe found someone in the apartment. I'm not really sure. It seemed very like not a great situation, and they seemed pretty shaken up by it. It's scary when something like this happens. You always expect it to happen somewhere else and not in your own neighborhood.
According to the super, this might have happened a couple of days ago. According to the video he said that he has inside this building. The investigators, the crime scene unit, the medical examiner's office, all here on scene right now. We are told waiting for a search warrant so they could go into the apartment and begin what will most definitely be a very long night for them. This investigation only just getting underway.
New developments tonight in the death of a woman whose body was found stuffed inside a duffel bag at her east side apartment. Police are now calling this case a homicide. Medical examiners say the 52-year-old died from blunt force head trauma.
Wow.
NYPD identifies the victim as Nadia Vitel. Her body was discovered yesterday afternoon during a wellness check at an apartment building on East 31st Street. Police have not identified a suspect.
We're going to begin with a manhunt for squatters suspected of killing a woman and then stuffing her body into a duffel bag.
Wow, so it was actually squatters who did this, and we just saw a story about a woman who had $1 million home in New York, and the squatters got up in there, and she ended up getting arrested for trying to evict them, because it's a quote-unquote unlawful eviction. Well, it's my house, so I'm going to get invaders out of there. Whatever happened to property rights? There are no property rights when the leftists Democrats have control. Period.
Police say the victim walked into the apartment in Kips Bay last week, found the squatters in the living room, and that would be the last time anyone saw her alive again.
Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan live outside that apartment building where neighbors are understandably nervous. Jim?
Sandra, Nadia Vitel was murdered inside apartment 19A in this Kips Bay building. To get to that apartment, to get to that floor, you need a special key for the elevator. Police now believe the two people who killed her somehow got hold of that key and used it to stay in the apartment while she was away.
And there you have it. Woman comes home, sees intruders in her home. She freaks out and they kill her. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Until Ms. Vitel unexpectedly came home and found them there. Nadia Vitel came to the apartment to prepare it for a visitor who was coming soon. Police have spent a week investigating the case and now say she was murdered brutally by a man and a woman who were squatters in her apartment. And it's all on the tape.
I was shocked to find out from the detectives that they had been there since Sunday.
Now, video surveillance police have not yet released shows a man and a woman police believe to have been squatters going in and out of apartment 19A since early March. The apartment was owned by 52-year-old Nadia Vitel. Vitel's body was found by the FDNY.
And this woman didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. But this is what happens when you allow the clowns to run the circus. It's utter chaos. You know, bodies dropping everywhere. Women, elderly women who live alone are unsafe. And this is a recipe for disaster, but the people keep voting for it.
Stuffed in a duffel bag inside the apartment.
I'm wondering how they knew, about this apartment.
How they picked it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like they were just trying out other apartments. Right. Seems like they just went straight up to the 19th floor.
Police believe Vitel surprised the couple by coming home and that the man and woman who were squatting in her apartment beat and killed her, slamming her face against a wall. The two are later seen by surveillance cameras driving away.
So can we get a description? Can we get some type of still image of the surveillance camera? Please and thank you.
Vitel's car. Well, that car was found by police in Lower Paxton Township, Pennsylvania. If police have identities for the two people who were squatting in that apartment and who stole her car, they are not yet saying, but they do have excellent video of those two. Reporting live from Kips Bay, Jim Dolan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jinquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
We begin this afternoon with breaking news and the manhunt for two squatters who police say took over a woman's empty apartment and then murdered her when she returned. Her body found stuffed inside a duffel bag.
It happened last week inside an apartment in Kips Bay. Investigative reporter Dan Crowd joins us. He's in the newsroom with the breaking details. Dan?
David and Sandra, family members and neighbors have been stunned since this happened, not having any idea who was responsible for the brutal murder. Now police say they know who they're looking for, two squatters who are living inside her family's apartment. It all went down here inside this apartment in Kips Bay last week. Police say it had been vacant for a few months since the victim's mother passed away. When Nadia Vitel walked inside for the first time last week, she encountered two squatters, a man and a woman living in the apartment. Police say a struggle broke out and Vitel was thrown into a sheetrock wall and died from blunt force trauma to her head.
Wow.
Her body was stuffed inside a duffel bag and put in the closet. Found by her own son, the building superintendent, who at first called the fire department for help.
He directed them to the closet, because all the clothes had been pulled down. And he said there was a bag underneath it. And he said, can you open the bag? Because I believe there's a body in there. They did. And they acknowledged that there was, and they called the police.
Woo! They were able to occupy the victim's apartment in the first place because it has no front doors. The building's elevator opens up directly into the apartment space. Police say after the killing, the squatters stole her car and then crashed it in Pennsylvania and then took off. The search for those suspects continues tonight.
Begin with that new information in a murder mystery in Manhattan.
Police sources revealing more details about the two suspects they say that they are hunting for after a woman was killed inside her mother's apartment. It happened in Kips Bay. Sources say the suspects are squatters. CBS 2's Alice Gaynor live at the apartment building right now with the details. Alice.
Police sources say a man and a woman stole the 52-year-old victim's car from right out on the street here in front of the apartment building. They traced the license plates to New Jersey, then Pennsylvania, but those two remain on the run.
CBS 2 spoke with a...
So they traced license plates, and we still don't have an identity. These people are dangerous in action. Why can't the people know who and what they look like?
Proud and laughing Nadia Vitels in 2021 as she opened up her home garage to serve as storage for her son's new business.
I kind of gave in into this. The original thought was no way.
On Monday, her son thanked her for believing in him at her funeral as he unexpectedly had to say goodbye to his mother.
Not only does she deep down support my entrepreneurship crazy venture idea, but she helped fund it early on.
Vitels was murdered. Her body found stuffed in a duffel bag in the front closet of an apartment on the 19th floor of this building on 31st Street. Super Jean Pompey let concerned family members into the apartment on March 14th after they couldn't reach her.
The male landlord pointed to the closet. He said he believed that there's a body in that bag.
And this is how evil these people are. They'll come in your home and act surprised when you come home and kill you just to flee the home from police. No logic, all emotion, all entitlement, all victimhood. These super gremlins are on demon time.
All the clothes were down, so you really couldn't see the bag. You could see partially a little bit.
The medical examiner ruled Vitel's death a homicide, blunt force trauma of the head. Police sources say they've identified two people they believe beat her to death. These sources say they were not known to Vitel's, but may have been squatting in the apartment before she started either moving herself or someone else in. The two suspects are seen on video stealing Vitel's car from the street out front and fleeing. The car, police sources say, was later involved in an accident in Pennsylvania. The two suspects are still on the run. Multiple boxes addressed to the apartment were sitting in the building lobby last week.
Wow. She was so excited to move into the city.
Her son told mourners his mama, as he called her, grew up in Russia, played tennis, worked hard, and traveled.
So beautiful, so smart.
So this is a legal immigrant, potentially who earned her citizenship, and she died for this. Died for it. It's heartbreaking. But this is what the city of New York has come to under Mayor Eric Adams' leadership, Kathy Holcomb's leadership. I mean, everybody has a part to play in this.
So selfless. She was so witty, so clever, so resourceful.
After the crash, police sources say the suspects then went to used car dealerships trying to get a new vehicle, but they don't believe they were successful. Again, they remain at large. If you know anything, give police a call. Live in Kips Bay, Alice Gaynor, CBS 2 News.
Alice, thank you. New York has some of the toughest laws to protect squatters, and some lawmakers say squatters are using this to their advantage.
Yep, and that's absolutely right. Why would you make a law to protect people who are breaking the law? It makes no sense. But this is how wacky these leftists are. They have codified into law a law that makes it legal to break the law. You can't be serious right now.
We spoke with State Assemblyman Jake Blumenkrantz, who has introduced a bill to close a loophole so squatters are not considered tenants.
So many horrible cases because you create serious confrontation, because just imagine you enter your own home to find people there. I think the best case scenario for us is if we pass this legislation this year, close the loophole, take this out of housing courts so that people don't end up getting killed entering their own home.
For continuing coverage on this story, head to our website, cbsnewyork.com.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
So it is what it is.